Okay, is the Muslim religion peaceful at its foundation? The question. I'm reading from a report here. The Religion of Peace, Guide to Understanding Islam. That is the religionofpeace.com. What does the religion of peace teach about? Okay. And this is particularly talking about the Muslim religion today, and is it peaceful, and the misunderstanding that people have about it. A co-worker of mine yesterday was trying to tell me that there are peaceful Muslims. Now, I already knew some things about the Quran, things that I had heard and things that I had read. Some of those things I'm not 100% sure about, and some of them I am. So, but my question to you is the Muslim religion peaceful at its foundation? Okay, and this is the question here is, does the Quran really contain dozens of verses promoting violence? Summary answer is, the Quran contains at least 100, and I'm reading here from the report, at least 109 verses that call Muslims to war with non-believers for the sake of Islamic rule. Now I'm going to read you some of those verses, okay? And I want to read you first a couple of paragraphs here from the summary so that you can know where we're heading in this. Some are quite graphic. Some of these verses are quite graphic, with commands to chop off heads and fingers and kill infidels wherever they may find them hiding. Muslims who do not join the fight are called hypocrites, and warn that Allah will send them to hell if they do not join the slaughter. Unlike the Old Testament of the Christian Bible, verses of violence, the verses of violence in the Quran are mostly open-ended, meaning they are not restrained by the historical content of the surrounding texts, although many Muslims choose to think of them that way. They are part of the eternal, unchanging Word of Allah, and just as relevant or subject to interpretation as anything else in the Quran. Now there may be Muslims who believe that in peace, and no doubt in every religion there is, but we're not talking about those Muslims today. We're talking about the foundation of what they believe, okay? I think it's important that that we get to the foundation of this. Okay, now I want to read to you from the Quran, okay? And this is Quran 2:191 through 193. It says, and kill them wherever you find them, and turn them out from whence they have turned you out. And disbelievers or unrest is worse than killing. But if they desert, I'm having trouble reading this. Allah is forgiving and merciful, but if they desert their faith, I'm guessing that's what it's talking about. Anyways, and you can go get the Quran and read this, but I'm going to try to read some of it here to you, okay? Because the way this is written, it's in context and it's got little notes. I'm trying to jump through their notes and kind of just get to you what the Quran is saying here. Okay, and okay, disbelief and worshippers of others alone with Allah, and worship is for Allah alone. But if they cease, let there be no transgression except against Zionism, that is a Jewish person, and wrongdoers, etc. Translation from the Noble Quran. Okay, the verse prior to this, 190, refers to fighting for the cause of Allah, those who fight you, leading to some belief that the entire passage refers to the defense war in which Muslims are defending their homes and families. The historical content of this page is not defensive warfare. However, since Muhammad and his Muslims have had just relocated to Midian and were not under attack by their adversaries. In fact, the verses urge offensive warfare in that Muslims are to drive Meccans out of their own country and city, which they did later. Verses 190 thus means to fight those who offer resistance to Allah's rule. The use of the word persecution by some Muslim translators is distinguishingly words of persecution and oppression. Okay, do not appear in the verse. The word used instead can mean disbelief or the disorder that results from unbelief. This is certainly what is meant in this context, since the violence is explicitly commissioned until religion is for Allah. Unbelievers is distinct in their unbelief. Okay, and that is a lot of different interpretations of what the report is saying here as far as it goes. And okay, now if you want to check this out, get a pencil and a pad, because I'm going to quote you some of these verses very similar to this. Well, some of them are a lot more simple than what I've just read. As a matter of fact, most of them are more simple. And you can write them down and go find a Quran and read it yourself. The Quran is the Bible, is the Muslim Bible. It's their standard. It's the foundation of all that they believe. And while some may take out verses and say this is the peaceful way to do it, the other verses are still in there, and they could revert to those at any time they feel like it. You know what I mean? Okay, Quran 2:44. Then fight in the cause of Allah, and know that Allah heareth and knoweth all things. Okay, now I'm just going to quote you the verse from now. I'm not going to read it to you. I'm just going to tell you where it's at. Okay, Quran 2:216, Quran 3:56, Quran 3:151, Quran 4:74, Quran 4:76 simply says those who believe fight in the cause of Allah. Quran 4:89, Quran 4:95, Quran 4:104, Quran 5:33, Quran 8:12. Now I want to read this one to you. I may just cut this short, but I mean it goes on and on and on. It says, I will cast terror into the hearts of those who disbelieve. Therefore strike off their heads and strike off their fingertips of them. No responsible person would interpret this to mean a spiritual struggle. Yeah. How can you cut off the fingertips of somebody spiritually? You know. And that, of course, that was a note that he added in there himself. Okay, but anyways, you're getting the message, right? And it goes on. There's 109 of those. And the context of violence. I'm going to read you some more of the summary here. okay, in what he came up with before he started reading to you the actual verses. Now you can go through this, like I said, you can go find this, Google it, just put in Guide to Understanding Islam, the Religion of Peace.com, and right up there at the top, and it'll take you right to it. Unfortunately, there are very few verses of tolerance and peace to abrogate or even balance out the many that call for non-believers to be fought and subdued until they either accept humiliation, convert to Islam, or are killed. Muhammad's own material legacy, along with the remarkable stress on violence found in the Quran, have produced a trail of blood and tears across world history. That's his assumption of that, and I'm telling you the truth, man. The things that I keep looking on the internet trying to find for that is exactly what he has just quoted here. I can't find anything peaceful about it. And this is one of the problems right here. And I'm reading from the text here, there are just too many Muslims who take the Quran literally, and too many others who couldn't care less about the violence done in the name of Islam. Like for instance, if there are all those peaceful Muslims who say Islam is wrong in this violence they're doing, then where are they in the fight against those? There's not one. And our political correct system, just like today, I'm going to read this to you, okay, here. I was putting this on my Facebook about the San Bernardino killings. This is California Governor Jerry Brown Friday declares a state of emergency in San Bernardino County following the massacre by Islamic terrorists. And in the original report, they didn't even call them terrorists. Okay, it just said it by the Islamic this person, that person. So he could more easily move around people to manage his offices. And he said nothing about the terrorists themselves. Our political correct. This is the governor of California who was afraid to chime in about what actually happened over there. And this is what I'm talking about. Our political correct system, those Muslims, those extremely violent Muslims are using that system against us. And the fellows at work are saying it right. They're saying America's already at war. It's just that people haven't realized it yet. And being attacked from the inside. I believe this was Obama's plan all the time. For about 4 years, I wrote a thing on Facebook called Obama's Trojan Horse. And that is exactly what has happened. He has brought in a Trojan horse under the name of a religion, and he has tried to break America at its core from the inside. That's what a Trojan horse does. Okay, now not a bad strategy. You know, seems to be working well up to now, unless people can get their head out of their butts and start recognizing an enemy, even if it comes in under a certain law of protection. You call yourselves a religion, come in and try to destroy an America. Well, you know, Hitler tried to do that back in the 40s, and the people back then in the 1950s were smart enough to make a law against it. Okay, and I just wonder, have we really gotten more intelligent over the years, or is our intelligence sinking into the abyss? Alrighty, thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next time. Another great message right here across in the Middle Ministry.